Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the Tier 10 Soviet Collector Tank Destroyer, the Object 268 version 4. This is one of the most dangerous Tier 10 TDs, because it actually features pretty good DPM at around 2,800. It also features an incredibly hard-hitting gun at 670 damage per shot. But if that's all not enough, it's the level of frontal protection this thing features. With calibrated shells getting nerfed, and with enhanced armor getting better, this vehicle has received the biggest buff out of most of the tier 10s in the game. In fact, this is what a 268 version 4 looks at when aiming at itself with calibrated shells. The lower plate on this vehicle on flat ground is upwards of 355 thick, meaning that you literally can't pen it. The superstructure at weakest is about 352, meaning that it's a 50-50. In other words, yeah, cutting through the 268 version 4, if you just slightly angle it, is now going to be a bounce for just about any shell. And this is the case for almost all tier 10 vehicles that fire heat. I mean, even a T95E6, which has some of the highest heat pen, is still not really going to be able to pen a V4. So if we're looking at vehicles that have less penetration, maybe something like an M6 Yo, for example, you're not really going to be able to pen this tank anywhere because an M6 Yo is 340 mils a pen. Look at the armor, dude. It's absolutely crazy. And as I mentioned, the gun hits hard, it's got good DPM, and this vehicle is pretty mobile. It has a top speed upwards of 40, it has reactive armor, it reverses at 20. The 268 version 4 was decent for a while now. It's always been decent, but the problem was when Wargaming buffed calibrated shells, it kind of knocked this vehicle down a notch. But now that Wargaming has reverted Cali back to what it used to be, it means that vehicles like this are now a heck of a lot stronger. So up against us, we have a Kron and a Rhino. A very, very cringe platoon, if I'm going to be totally honest, because what am I supposed to do in a tank destroyer with 5 degrees of gun depression? Probably not much, but I guess we'll see. Alright, I'm going to go towards base B, and we'll play it by ear. You'll notice that this thing is quite mobile. Like, it's not slow at all. That's one of the things I love about the V4 is that it does feature good mobility. It's not a tank that has armor and is slow. It actually has everything, really. So, let's see. There's the enemy Rhino, and, yep, there you go. That's 716 health off that player. That's pretty crazy. Okay, I'm going to turn this way. We have a bit of delay in this game, as you can see, which is always a bit of a bummer, but not much I can do about that. We're going to move over here, just like this, and get to the side of the Kron. Aiming, aiming, and boom. There you go. 637 off the Kron. That's gotta hurt. Let's put on my adrenaline, and let's see if I can get another shell into the enemy Kron. Aiming, and 3, 2, 1, boom. There you go. There's another 590. That Kron literally cannot pen me. Like, it doesn't matter how hard they try, they will not be able to cut through my frontal protection, which is a great example of the V4's insane frontal protection. We got a shot into the IS-4. We're already up to 2,600 damage, which is pretty impressive, I gotta say. It's pretty dang impressive. Alright, well, we gotta reload again, and let's see, we got the IS-4 showing me their entire lower plate, which we cut right through, dealing another 700 damage, and just like that, we are up to 3,300 damage. Okay, well, at this point, we are going to back up. But as I mentioned, this tank reverses at 20, so it's quite hard to rush a vehicle that can reverse this fast. So let's see, the IS-4 makes a push, take another 525 off of them. They're not going to be able to pen me anyway. The Rhino, I'm not really sure what they're doing to begin with. Yeah, this was a pretty brain-dead game for the V4, gotta be honest. This was pretty brain-dead. Well, the IS-4 actually manages to cut through my armor. Unfortunately for him, we also went right through his. And just like that, we did 4,200. Well, this was a pretty solid game for the V4. I really can't complain at all. All that's left at this point is the enemy Grill 15, which we are going to load a 838 damage max roll into, putting us over 5,000 damage. Yeah. The V4, the gun is nice. I mean, we didn't even really rely on the armor. We didn't need to. The gun itself was able to output a lot of damage really quickly, and we kind of dominated everything in front of us. We finished top in the team by almost double. Yeah, this thing is pretty crazy when you can get it to work properly. So, let's try one more game in the V4 and see if we can keep it up. I will say that this tank is an excellent counter to haul down auto-loaders and auto-reloaders, because sure, a Kron might be really annoying to fight. It might have some of the strongest armor, same for a Rhino haul down, but doesn't really matter when you can't pen me. The Kron is 330 mils of heat with Kali, and if you're running, vents, you're looking at like 310. What are you going to do with that level of pen against a 268 version 4? Not much. Gonna be honest, not much. So because of that, the 268 version 4 has the advantage of just being able to sit there and get bounces. It's a great counter to the cringe meta spam. However, one tank you do have to be careful about is the VZ55. That tank has crazy levels of penetration, and because of that, it can butter through your armor with its premium APCR. So let's see what we can do here. We've got Sandwich in the Kron. We have a Chieftain Mark 6. I'm going to head over towards base C. That's generally where I always like to go. I honestly love this camo for the V4, though. It just looks so nice. It really does. But yeah, again, you can see the mobility on this thing is quite nice. We're not struggling at all to move into position. And let's see. We have the Object 140. Alright, keep on going. Keep on going. They have a YAG and a 4005, which are both very dangerous. And we have 3 tank destroyers, which is a flat disadvantage. And our Rheinmetall is already killing themselves, which is pretty tragic. Let's go for a quick snap into that 4005, and there you go. At least we were able to bleed them out a decent amount. That's always important, but yeah, our team's not doing very good at this point. Let's reload again. 4005 is chilling right there, aiming, and boom. Really. 670 alpha, and I couldn't even get it. That sucks, because we needed that shell to take that 4005 out of the game. Okay, well, we're going to chill here and cover. We're going to reload. 3, 2, 1. Oh, I needed that shell to hit, and unfortunately, it didn't want to work with me. Okay, well, we're doing okay. We're not able to really be penned by anything, and the E5's getting pretty quickly bled out. Let's see. Will the 140 poke? Will the 140 poke? Doesn't look like it right now. Okay. I'm going to move over here, and there is the enemy Leopard. Dang. So close. So incredibly close. Alright, well, we are spotted, but again, I'm not too worried about that. I'm more worried about the VZ and potential threats on my rear than I am my front. Alright, let's see. There's the E5. There's the YAG over here. I don't really know. I'm going to push up. I don't think the YAG is over here, judging that they haven't been spotted the entire time. I feel like if they were, they would have been detected. So I'm just going to move up this way. Let's go to the rear of the 140 and take that player right out of the game. It's a pretty good start. Then we have the Kron, who I'm not even going to be able to shoot probably because this guy's just getting quickly killed by everybody. Yeah, but I'll take it. We've already done 2,000 damage, and even if we don't get any more out, I think we've done our job. We took the 140 out of the game, and yeah, we did pretty good. Okay, so we have the VZ. There's the enemy YAG. Let's move over the ridge, aiming in on his lower plate. Boom. There you go. 640 damage into the YAG. As I mentioned before, this thing is way more accurate than people give it credit for. It's actually shockingly accurate. Alright, well, let's put on my reactive, just in case the YAG does pen me. And let's go... I literally can't pen him anywhere, honestly. It's one of the downsides of running Rammer, which I am running. Let's see, what is this YAG's game plan? Are they going to back up? No, they're just going to sit there and die. But we did get a nice HE into the YAG, at least. Yeah, I'm trying out Rammer just to see how it goes, and that right there is a good example of where Rammer did not benefit us. We were not able to pen that YAG. If I was running Kali, I would have been able to cut right through the superstructure, which means we lost out on 3,000 damage because of that. As I always tell you guys, Rammer and Kali, they both have advantages and disadvantages. Question is, will I be able to get another game where Rammer gives me an advantage versus Kali? I'm actually going to try one more game of the V4 anyway, because we really haven't been able to use the armor. Every game we've played, the enemy team kind of just died. The first game, we farmed them out, nothing really shot at us. Second game, again, nothing really shot at us. I mean, obviously a YAG penned us, but what a shocker. The highest penetration tier 10 was able to cut through our armor. Who could have guessed that? Woo! So, let's try one last game, and maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to use the armor. But not a great map. The best maps to use the armor would obviously be something like Dynasty, Himmelsdorf, not Canyon, a map where vehicles can get hauled down in mid and farm us out. Thankfully, most of the heavies they have aren't really haul down fighters, so I'm hoping that they are going to make their way over to base C, and we'll be able to play it by ear. Alright, well, I'm going to say that I'm going to base C. Hopefully my team supports me. And full speed ahead. Ah, nobody on my team's going to support me. I see. Hopefully the Atlas does. Frank Marico, I don't know. Alright. But you're definitely seeing why the V4 is honestly a very enjoyable tank. The gun is more accurate than people give it credit for, especially if you run Refined Gun. And the DPM is quite nice, so you add all that together, and it can definitely be a pretty enjoyable experience overall. So we are going to move up. IS-4 has already been spotted and shot at. We're going to keep going ourselves, and let's see if I can get a shell into the mouse, or something like that in the crossing. Let's see, aiming, and boom. Okay, that is horrible levels of accuracy there. I'm not really worried about the mouse cutting through me. I don't think they can, but it is such a good showcase of how garbage this thing's accuracy can be sometimes. Alright, let's see. Is the mouse going to side scrape? Are they going to poke? We have the IS-4, which I'm not able to hit right now. We're going to move over this way, and we'll see if I can get some damage. Let's see, is the mouse going to cross? Boom, there you go. 760 damage into that player. That is an insane bleed. And again, it really shows why I love this tank so much. When you're able to get that alpha damage working, I mean, how do you even combat that? 760 damage roll? That is wild. There's another 695, and we're going to back up. And remember, this thing reverses at 20, so it's not like this thing's easy to catch either. With that reverse speed, it's actually very challenging to make a proper play against it. So let's reposition. We have the enemy E3, and we have our reactive, so we can literally roll around the corner, trade with the E3, and most likely win. Alright, keep on going, Looks like the E3 might be on reload, so let's just aim it on his lower plate. 8 years later, boom, there you go. Pretty bad roll, but it's still 599, and that puts us over 2,000 damage. And the 183 does not shoot the E3. Interesting decision, but I'm going to move up then. Let's see, we still got a lot of tanks left. We got the enemy 183 in the back. Let's aim it on the E3 lower plate. Let's put on my reactive just in case he tries to hit me, but I'm going to angle my lower plate. Yeah, as you can see, he was actually able to cut through my side armor there. Alright, well, the enemy 183 is in the back. And I'm going to go for that player, because obviously they're a pretty big threat. So, let's aim it on their tank. Ooh, 838 max roll. And that is the end of the enemy 183, at least as we know it. So that was a pretty good bleed. Let's see if I can help out really quickly with the enemy IS-4. Hopefully we don't get shot in the rear for all of our health by the 183. We're going to back up right here where we should be safe. And now we're just going to chill here. Alright, pretty good stuff. We're already up to 4,000 damage, and once again, it's just... Yep, there you go, 183 kills him. I knew that was going to happen. Well, unironically, we haven't really been able to use our armor at all in the games today. We're going to aim it on the IS-4, and I'm just going to load an HE. It's better than nothing, and he was going to back up anyway. IS-4 bounces me. Well, hello, good sir. Boom. There's 20... Wow, we actually lost a lot more than him. I'm a little shocked, but doesn't really matter. Oh! I thought I had HE loaded. Oops. That's my bad. Oh no! I missed out on 60 damage. Yeah, I thought I had high explosive loaded, and I guess I, like, auto-clicked over to standard, not paying attention. Either way, all the games in the V4 were totally fine. We had a lot of damage, we supported our team, and yeah, this tank's great. Unfortunately, we didn't even get to use the armor. Sometimes Blitz is like that, but I'm not going to make this video 30 years long. I figured I'd just showcase that this tank is an absolute beast. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.